Especially with AI getting so good, you could essentially upload all of the information on your website and it would come up with a really custom response. What are some of the mistakes you made when you first started doing cold outreach?
One of my bigger mistakes is thinking I need a bigger list.
What are you excited about trying to further improve your results?
I like the AI tool, but there are pieces sometimes where I would like to shoot out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sales Robot Customer of the Week, a new show where we interview the best Sales Robot users and go deep into their tactics, including tips around targeting, messaging, personalization, so that you can take away some tips and implement in your cold outreach starting tomorrow. Today on the show, we have Jeff Sharp, who's used Sales Robot across multiple companies and industries and gotten amazing results across all of them. So, welcome to the show, Jeff.
Appreciate it, Swarv. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome, Jeff. So let's jump right in. Obviously, you've used this tool across multiple companies, but I'll not bury the lead here. Let's talk about the campaign that got you on. Do you remember what that campaign was about before I show everybody the numbers?
Yeah, so that campaign was targeted to content creators, specifically podcasters, and I was looking for a following or looking for a list of podcasters who had a decent following and presence on LinkedIn already. So I narrowed it down pretty close or pretty far, but generally it was talking to podcasters and content creators.
Got it. Interesting. So I'll just share my screen and show you guys the actual results so that you understand how cool this was, and then we'll get deeper into Jeff's strategy. Awesome. So this was the campaign. It's called Podcasters USA Alternative Wellness. We can see it's got about a 36% acceptance rate and a 51% response rate. So this is really above average. Average acceptance rate is about 10 to 20, and again, applies 10 to 20. So first of all, congrats on the campaign.
Appreciate it.
So let's get deeper into the offering. What was it that you guys were offering to them, and what was that whole?
So Blue Java Group is the company that the promotion is for. What we do is build virtual telehealth wellness clinics that any entrepreneur can run, whether they have medical background or not. So our goal with Blue Java Group was to kind of flip the healthcare model on its side and see how many different ways we could help patients get to care quicker. And really what we came down to, and this also comes from a story of my own, which was battling chronic illness for 10 years with 3 boys. It was a very rough time. So we found out ways that worked in the medical system and ways that didn't, and we rebuilt a model over the last 5 to 7 years that allows entrepreneurs, which typically what we found is that a lot of people that are the best to lead other people to healing are the people that have been through it themselves. So doctors know a lot, physicians know a lot, but somebody who's healed through a chronic illness, for instance, they know a little bit about everything and they're really good at guiding the conversations. So the idea is that we can take any personality, and in this case, we're looking at podcasters because they already have a built-in audience. We did I narrowed it down to be completely podcasters that have a decent following at least, but also are very much tied into alternative wellness or different ideas of progressive wellness or even medical or herbal sides. So it kind of really fits our message. And those are the people that we reached out to. So the idea is a person like Leah here, she's a podcast host. She knows so much about, it looks to me like hormone balance, balancing, things like that. So she could actually own a women's clinic that focuses on postpartum and also she can actually own the clinic, recruit the doctors herself, but we take on all the back end, we take all the HIPAA compliancy on. So really all she's doing is using her brand and her reach to help other people get to care quicker through her own clinic, rather than referring the patients out to to labs for testing and then a doctor for somewhere else. And sometimes they make 8 cents on the dollar for those referrals. But in this case, they can actually own the patient relationship. They can provide the best patient care. And typically it avoids all the red tape, just the way we do things. And telehealth has really opened up a lot of things. So with this campaign, the idea was, how do we find people that like a functional practitioner like her was perfect, because she's got the mindset to over a lot of things, but she doesn't have the medical abilities to, or the medical credentials to be able to prescribe or things like that. And we can back her up on that side. So now that would be a perfect example. But this I tell you, as far as like the way I'm able to target, it's incredible. I was really able to get down to the people that I want. I do like one of the tricks that I like right now is when I'm narrowing it down is to do the LinkedIn post recently. So check that box. And I've noticed all my, with that box checked, it's definitely made a difference in campaigns. So I start with a little wider net and bring it down to people that are active on LinkedIn. And so it's an incredible system. And the way that I'm able to target, the way I'm able to manage is very powerful as well.
Absolutely. Now let's get into your messaging a little bit. Obviously, your targeting is really good. You're going after podcast hosts and people who are yoga instructors and stuff like that. But let's get into your messaging. So your messaging strategy is also really good because one thing I notice is you're not bombarding them with too many messages. You're following them, and then you have a very simple connection request message. Talk me through the message here.
Yeah, so this is a new campaign and a new topic, and although I do use the AI sales robot piece, it's amazing. But in a new topic, new conversation, I like to really do it myself and manually check in, so that way I can create a library with which I can create the standard operating procedures for your AI and sales robot. So I don't just build the operating procedures right out the gate. I spend a month, get real replies, real conversations in there, analyze that, and then build the standing operator or the SOPs for it there. So you're right. I don't kick off. One thing I do like is starting with the follow, because it gives them first an example, there's only 2 steps in this campaign.
Yeah.
I like starting with the follow because it gives them a chance to actually connect with you first. It puts your name up in front of them. And then after that, shortly after that, if they don't hear back, that's a good time for the connection request. And I liken LinkedIn sales to, it's almost like walking up to somebody on the street. If you start with a pitch, you're not going to get anywhere, especially in some of the harder industries. So if the industry is flooded with competitors, you need to actually reach out on a personal level, get the conversation started. And that's why I don't have a list of other messages that are going to go out on this right away, because I'm like, me or AI aren't good enough right now to know where this conversation could go. But over time, we'll create that. And then that's where the AI conversation gets really powerful too.
Awesome. No, we love this approach. Nice, short and sweet, and that's how it pans out. So let's quickly get into your journey then. What are some of the mistakes you made when you first started doing cold outreach?
Yeah, I've made a few mistakes. One of my bigger mistakes is thinking I need a bigger list, or thinking I need to have a bigger campaign in order to get results from the effort. And so, there's times where I think, oh, I want 1,000 or 1,500 in my list. But really, when I'm starting off a campaign now, I've dropped it to 200 to 300, and I just create micro campaigns. It eliminates a lot of waste and just a lot of back and forth. If the target's really, really nailing it, then, you end up with better percentages and fewer messages and fewer, less waste. So that was one of my bigger mistakes, is trying to get too big of a list so I could set it and forget it. It's more like a pulse, you check in
Yeah.
you get some rolling and you can forget about them. But at first it's a pulse to understand, to see exactly what's going on, what conversations are coming back.
Awesome. With that, let's get into my final question then. What are you excited about trying to further improve your results?
All right. So this is something I give you props on, is the flexibility of the entire program, being able to work within. So I like the AI tool, but there are pieces sometimes where I would like to shoot out a reply that came into SalesRobot, and I append some other information to it in order to formulate the reply or perhaps a proposal. And then I want to send a message back to the person through SalesRobot. So you allow, like, the way you built it allows all those pieces to where I can do everything within SalesRobot, or if I have to get a little tricky for a particular project, I can send messages from a different program through SalesRobot, after it's set up correctly and all that. So continuing on that is a little bit, that's probably what I'm most excited about it, because the AI profile development just gets really incredible what you can do with it. And it's just, being able to be flexible and send things back and forth really opens up a lot of doors.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with AI getting so good, you could essentially upload all of the information on your website and it would come up with a really custom response and then use our API to just send it over. So the future is amazing. So on that note, Jeff, we'll wrap up this short and sweet episode. For the people who want to find out more about you online, where can they find you?
On LinkedIn or bluejavagroup.com.
But I'll put both those links in the show notes below. Thank you so much for doing this, Jeff. This was a lot of fun.
Appreciate it, Swarab. Thank you so much for having me.